Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Then Jesus and his disciples arrived at the country of the Gerasenes, which is opposite Galilee. As he stepped out on land, a man of the city who had demons met him. For a long time he had worn no clothes, and he did not live in a house but in the tombs. When he saw Jesus, he fell down before him and shouted at the top of his voice, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, do not torment me." For Jesus had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man. For many times it had seized him. He was kept under guard and bound with chains and shackles, but he would break the bonds and be driven by the demons into the wilds. Jesus then asked him, "What is your name?" He said, "Legion," for many demons have entered him. They begged him not to order them to go back into the abyss. Now there on the hillside a large herd of swine was feeding, and the demons begged Jesus to let them enter these. So he gave them permission. When the demons came out of the man and entered the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and was drowned. Then the swineherds saw what had happened. They ran off and told it in the city and in the country. Then people came out to see what had happened, and when they came to see Jesus, they found the man from whom the demons had gone, sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. Those who had seen it told them how the one who had been possessed by demons had been healed. Then all the people of the surrounding country of the Gerasenes asked Jesus to leave them, for they were seized with great fear. So he got into the boat and returned. The man from whom the demons had gone begged that he might be with them. But Jesus sent him away, saying, "Return to your home and declare how much God has done for you." So he went away, proclaiming throughout the city how much God had done for him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
You may be seated. Pigs, demons, and shackles. Oh my. Today's Gospel reading is quite a story to follow. So I'd like to take a little closer look at what's going on. First of all, Jesus has taken the disciples across the water, quite a distance in the boat, to a different, unfamiliar country opposite of Galilee. It's a new place, and the first thing they encounter when they arrive is a person who has demons in him. This person wasn't clothed and didn't live in a home, but in tombs. And all of this is emphasizing that he was an outcast of society, unacceptable and unwelcome even in his own home. He was essentially as good as dead by the community. He even said that his name was Legion, which wasn't identifying who he was, but rather was a reference meaning many Roman soldiers. He basically was taken over and his identity didn't exist anymore. But then Jesus communicates with the demons inside the person and gives them permission to come out of him and enter a herd of pigs who essentially drown themselves. After this, the swineherds, who are like shepherds, but for pigs, go into town and tell everyone what Jesus had done. And then the people in town hear what had happened and they come, because I'm sure they didn't believe it, and they found the man had been healed and was now sitting at Jesus' feet, ready to follow his teachings. The people of the town then send Jesus away because they were afraid of what Jesus had done. The person who had been healed wanted to also follow Jesus, but Jesus sent him home to declare in this area what had been done for him. Jesus created a new disciple and left him to keep spreading the message of all that God had done. Whew. I don't know about you, but this is not a story that I learned about in Sunday school growing up. So it makes me wonder, what can we gain from hearing this story and studying it? How does it have an impact on our lives? I personally was struck at the end where the people of the community send Jesus home because they were afraid. And it got me wondering, how many times have we experienced something miraculous or beneficial for someone or even a community, but yet we brush it aside or send it away because it's more comfortable to go back to our old ways than to face the change right in front of us. Based on this story, we know that having demons removed from this person helped restore him to fullness of life. It was good for him and his future, and maybe even the community. But yet, it was probably really uncomfortable for the community to accept this new change. Might have been even hard for him. He lived this way for so long. But instead of allowing Jesus to possibly heal others or stick around and share, they sent Jesus home because they were uncomfortable. In the U.S., we can recognize that gun laws need to change to keep people alive, but yet we struggle to come to a life-saving solution. Instead, we cast issues aside as if they will resolve themselves, or we blame it on something else. All around the country, there are laws being enacted that limit the rights of LGBTQ+ people, especially targeting young trans kids. And even though studies show that support allows trans kids to live as their authentic selves, and it's actually better for them, it allows them fullness of life, we still enact these laws. When we can see when something is beneficial, but yet we might not want to admit it. And so instead of advocating for justice and change, we stay silent, or we pick up a different topic and try and draw attention to it in order to distract from the issue at hand. We tend to fear change, even when it might be good for us, simply because it's easier not to change. We do this on a personal level too. The acceptable and expected answer when someone asks, "How are you?" is, say it with me, fine. Instead of sharing even a glimpse of what might actually be troubling us, whether it be finances, health, school, marriage, work, kids, family, we gloss over it with a fine, or maybe even a good. We need safe places to be able to truly share the struggles of life. Somehow, even though we all have them, we act as if we are the only ones who have experienced a particular struggle. And now I'm not saying we need to share our personal business with any person who asks us how we're doing, but we do need to make sure we have safe outlets for this, like a close friend, spouse, or even your pastor. I'll listen to you. And then, if that isn't enough, because sometimes it isn't enough, we need to find a therapist who is trained in working through all the stuff that life throws at us. And the good news is that God has given us these relationships to provide support and healing. Healing miracles, as they are recorded in the Bible, may not happen the same way today, but yet God still provides. When we have these supportive relationships with people who care about us and our well-being, we get to find healing. Especially having a supportive community that won't send away the one who provides the healing. Rather, they'll celebrate with you. We all deserve fullness of life, individually and as a community, and Jesus wants this for us. So the next time you see something that is actually good for the community or for a person, I invite you to lift it up and support it. Even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you're not sure if it will work, but they say it will make a difference, don't brush it aside or try to cover it up with something else. Instead, share about the healing power of God